Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This afternoon, I am pleased to announce that the Bermuda government has received and formally accepted an entrustment letter from Her Majesty's government with respect to the airport terminal redevelopment project. This document will remove any potential legal barrier to Bermuda's engaging with the Canadian Commercial Corporation, otherwise known as CCC, with respect to the construction of a new airport for Bermuda. This entrustment letter has been a long time coming, but it now includes language that both the UK government and the Bermuda government are content with. It removes any ambiguity as to the authority of the Bermuda government to engage CCC, which will act as the prime contractor in this project. The government did have legal advice advising that the transaction we sought with CCC fell outside the requirements for an entrustment from the UK. However, any ambiguity in this matter would have posed a significant problem for the project's financiers. Acting in good faith, the Bermuda government sought clarity by establishing dialogue with the UK. And now that ambiguity has been removed. We are now continuing talks with CCC and ACON, Canada's largest public construction and infrastructure development company, towards making the, I guess, now famous go, no-go decision. If agreed, we will move to Phase 2 from Phase 1, which would entail the finalizing of detailed contracts, financing, and design. That will probably take the better part of a year. Advancing to the next stage will alter the arrangements of liability for Bermuda, meaning we will be committed to the project and would have to pay financial penalties should we subsequently abandon the deal. The Bermuda public will be apprised when arrangements are agreed to move to Phase 2. Governance matters highlighted in the report by Deloitte will be acted upon in due course. At this time, I'd like to thank the Ministry of Finance team and the Department of Airport Operations, who have worked diligently on preparing a number of documents in relation to this airport terminal redevelopment project. Their work is not yet done. I would like to also publicly announce the work of His Excellency the Governor and the Deputy Governor for their assistance in moving this process forward. That's the end of my formal comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
This may have been asked, I may have asked this before, I may have heard before. But just take me back to the beginning. Why do we need an airport in the first place?
People still ask me that. I'll take you back to Hurricane Fabian. Hurricane Fabian was supposed to be a once in 100 years hurricane. When Hurricane Fabian hit Bermuda, our current terminal, where it is, was underwater up to the ceiling. Everything on the ground floor of the terminal was destroyed. All electronic equipment was destroyed. And the government spent, I think, $12.5 million repairing it. Now, that came from insurance. But the airport was out of commission for a long time. And all things, once we got the causeway rebuilt, remember that was also destroyed, airline matters had to be done manually, etc. So just from a continuity perspective, we need to have a terminal in a different place than what we have now to protect against hurricanes. Now, you'll recall that 100-year hurricane Fabian almost happened 10 years later with Gonzalo. And our airport, even though we didn't get the 100-year hurricane, as it turned out, there was severe damage done to the terminal with Hurricane Faye a few days before Gonzalo. So our terminal is not in good shape at all. Remember, the oldest parts were built in the 1950s. So it's way past the end of its useful life. And more importantly, it's in the wrong place. And it was always in the wrong place. So if we're going to spend money to improve our airport, there's no sense spending money on an airport that's in the wrong place. So we're going to have a new terminal that's going to be in a much better place, 300 meters from Castle Harbor. So that will, and it'll also be raised, I think, by 3 meters. So that will allow that a new facility to be much more hurricane resistant than what we have now.
Now, having this airport, is there a new bridge in the future?
Yeah, a bridge to replace the causeway? There's got to be a new bridge to replace the causeway. There are two problems. One of the problems was the airport was too close to Castle Harbor. The other problem was that the causeway, as it's constructed, trapped the water into Castle Harbor, so it made the water even rise higher. There's got to be a bridge to replace the causeway, and as soon as those of us in Ministry of Finance can figure out how we can pay for that, that'll be next.
Or, Deputy Premier, you wouldn't be opposed to perhaps another public-private partnership to construct the bridge, because I know the government has said that would be very expensive.
It'll be expensive, but it won't be as expensive as the new airport. So, in any case, I mean, we don't rule that out, that's for sure. But we don't have any, there's no preconceived ideas how we would finance a new airport, a new bridge to replace the causeway.
This letter doesn't validate your position all along that by dealing with CCC, government was never directly dealing with a foreign government, as some had suggested?
Well, as I said in my prepared remarks, once the issue was raised that we might need some agreement with the UK, it really muddied the waters insofar as finance is concerned. Nobody's going to invest in a project, in a $200 million project, if they're not certain that the sponsor of the project has the authority to do it on its own. So once the issue of entrustment was raised, we had to have something definitive that removed that doubt, and now we've got that.